Some of it is common sense, I would say. Some of it we understand intuitively. But I think much of my career has been devoted to making what is intuitively understood explicit with words. And it is amazing to me, for example, how we use the term love and we think it's one thing, but I don't really believe love is one thing at all. And so in making the intuitive explicit, we come to learn a great deal about ourselves and other people. And the more we learn about ourselves, the more we learn we're both unique and not unique. And if we understand the complexity and the multi-layered set of conflicts and dilemmas that we have, it changes our attitude towards other people, including our spouse, because we think that they must be human too. Sure, there are solutions to this, but they have to do with regulating the self and understanding the importance of relationship and understanding those two systems of nurturance. Nurturance is not something just children need. All of us throughout our life cycle, geriatric, older adults, middle-aged adults, younger adults need nurturance. We just don't admit that we need nurturance, but we need nurturance, and the way we are nurtured is our ability to talk about our inner selves with a partner and the ability to share our physical selves with a partner. I do think a grasp of the nature of humanity as seen from one's own self and one's spouse helps one to negotiate the difficult perils of a long-term relationship. And after all, the expectations for love are to last a lifetime in some ideal way. The busyness interferes with our energy level, and so if we think about conceptualizing, if we conceptualize that a marriage or a long-term relationship, doesn't have to be a marriage, has two basic systems of nurturance. It's the psychological intimacy, which is sharing of the internal world of oneself with another person in return for getting it back from the other person, and sexual behavior. I think the couple really needs to be fascinated with how to maintain psychological intimacy, because I think the sexual behavior stems from that. Many people are complaining about the loss of sexual opportunity because they're busy, but I really think it's because of the lack of psychological intimacy, because they've been too separate and too fatigued to share what's going on in themselves, or the sharing about what's going on in themselves causes an interpersonal conflict. That is, the partner doesn't like what's going on with the self. Not having a loving relationship, I believe in psychiatric lingo, predisposes us to various anxiety and depressive conditions, and sometimes addiction, substance abuse problems. Ultimately, it's the people in the relationship. Only a small percentage of people with relationship dilemmas come to see a mental health professional, and then we want to take on those challenges. But the trouble is that many of us take on these challenges by viewing problems through our DSM-5 paradigm, and these problems do not lend themselves easily to a DSM-5 paradigm. We hardly have a diagnosis for marital distress. We have diagnoses for the consequences of marital distress: anxiety, depression, substance abuse, etc., etc.